Hi, welcome to Chris' Wild Adventure. Tonight she's exploring the beautiful views with Tracy. Jane watched Tracy bustle around for Chris and thought Tracy is too enthusiastic, like she's hosting a cooking show. Jane told Chris that when she was young, she too dreamed of family bliss, but life is like a play full of surprises. Her husband left early, her son Master disappearing during his rebellious phase. Up until this very moment, she and her son had seemed as if they had traversed through time and space, rarely encountering each other again. Over the next few days, Tracy trailed after Chris with the adoring gaze of a devoted fan. Chris went for a walk, and Tracy followed closely, hitting the gym. She was there like a devoted fan, even walking the dog. She was like a dance partner. After a while, Tracy felt like a dizzy spinning top, but Chris remained as cold as ice, completely oblivious to Tracy's crush. Want to do something together? Chris asked, as if proposing to build Lego together. As for Tracy's naive feelings, Chris was more interested in experiencing the wonders of Chinese cuisine. Subtitles. She accompanied Tracy in the jet performance, resembling countless farewells. Does destiny still have plans in store for the future? Next day, after leaving a motivational quote for Tracy, Chris quietly exited, like a swift scene clearance. For Chris, conquering the Alaskan wilderness was her golden career, leaving love and family trailing behind. Jane drove Chris partway, tossing a package to her like she was passing a secret mission. The package contained the hat Jane promised, in it maybe some meetings are just about fulfilling a promise. Some meetings are for growth, some reunions are just brush-bys, like ghosts floating past. Those fleeting encounters could possibly turn into a permanent farewell. Chris walked on, carrying Jane's gift and blessing. Before reaching Alaska, she met a helpful old man named Ron, straight out of a movie character. Ron invited Chris over for dinner, regaling her with episodes of his youthful lost episodes. Since then, he became a leather craftsman, living a monotonous life, like a painting that never changed in a frame of time. Ron showed Chris around his studio, like embarking on a novice sculpting adventure. Chris learned leatherwork, carving her experiences into the leather bag Ron gifted her, like writing a diary of. She introduced each experience to Ron, and when he saw Alaska on the bag, he was left dumbfounded. Ron tried to persuade her not to go to that shadowless place, but steadfast Chris encouraged Ron to change his life instead. Chris said, "You gotta step out of your comfort zone, like a wise person sharing fables larger than life." For Ron, life was a new tapestry woven from psychology and experience. On side, sitting on the shoulders of history, reminiscing about the years gone by, Chris encouraged, saying, "Don't be scared to look up at the universe. Perhaps the stars will give you the key." Subsequently, Chris kept motivating Ron. The old-timer was determined to give it a try, truly a last laugh competition. Finally, Ron made it a mountain top with great effort, sitting there like brothers, despite half a century in age difference. Chris told Ron, "God placed joy in every corner, we just have to find it." Ron promised Chris he would try to change and impart his wisdom to her, like handing down a life skill. Forgiveness is important, but you don't have to overthink. Chris chuckled awkwardly, trying to hide her confusion. Like Guide's life, however, this heavy topic made her feel overwhelmed, and she ended up masking it with laughter. Soon, Chris finally got the chance to head north again, and Ron reluctantly saw her off, waving goodbye like a heartfelt farewell. Ron had completely fallen for this vibrant person and, at that moment, unexpectedly expressed a wish to adopt Chris, but was denied. For Chris, nothing could stand in the way of her journey now, like a gust of wind blowing unhindered. After going through numerous twists and turns, Chris eventually arrived at the far-off Alaska nearly 2 years after he had been wandering. After thinking the last farewell, Chris, with simple supplies, barreled into the wilderness, her heart brimming with endless anticipation. She, like a pilgrim, immersed herself in the boundless expanse of snowy mountains and forests, with her ideal pulsating firmly in her heart. She measured the uninhabited snow-covered wilderness with her legs, feeling the place's most authentic temperature. Walking on snow, crossing the biting ice rivers, days later, she joyfully discovered the nostalgic bus at the mountaintop. Clearly, this bus had been transformed into a temporary shelter by someone, like a stroke of good luck dropping from the sky. Chris excitedly named the bus Magic Bus, which then became her new base. Cheering atop the Magic Bus, she realized it was like being embraced by nature. What an incredible sense of freedom. As she immersed herself in the wilderness, time seemingly froze, and all fatigue and pain vanished at that moment. With only nature's echoes, Chris happily chased through the wilderness, releasing her pent-up emotions. When the weather was good, she'd summit the snow-capped peaks, basking in the breathtaking views, like admiring a stunning artwork. At night, she was accompanied by great sages, the dates in Chris' diary stretched onward, etched in the river of history. A few weeks later, as her supplies dwindled, she bravely picked up her hunting rifle to face new challenges. With nature's generosity, Chris continued to survive here until the ice and snow began to melt. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.